We continue to follow breaking news, folks. If you're just joining us, these are the last images of Micah Parsons in a Cowboys uniform. He's headed to Green Bay, according to our lead NFL insider, Jonathan Jones, as Dallas gets 2 first-round picks and a player. Parsons and Green Bay agreeing to a 4-year, $188 million deal with 136 of that guaranteed. It makes him the highest-paid non-quarterback in league history at $47 million per year. Let's bring in Garrett Podell, who covers the Cowboys for us here at CBS Sports. Garrett, what more can you tell us about what we're learning today?
Well, Tommy, this comes across as a complete and total shock, considering what's been talked about over at the Star, the Cowboys team facility just down the road from where I am. On Tuesday, I was out there for the Cowboys roster cut-down press conference with head coach Brian Schottenheimer, and he was affirmative that the Cowboys had cleared Micah Parsons to practice and that they did still expect him to suit up in week 1 for them against the Philadelphia Eagles. Fast forward to Monday, earlier this week, I had a chance to, among other reporters, speak to Dak Prescott and Trayvon Diggs. Dak said he was, quote, confident that this whole Micah Parsons situation would be resolved and that Micah would be on the field in week 1 against Philadelphia, because that's been the track record here with Jerry Jones, right? With CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott last year. Drag it out. End of training camp, right before the start of the regular season. In Prescott's case, get guys re-signed, no problem, move on. That didn't happen here, and it's very interesting to me because Diggs, who was Parsons' best friend on the team, he said, quote, Parsons most definitely wanted to remain a Cowboy, but that clearly is not happening anymore. Just in complete and total shock here in Dallas.
So I know you've been giving us some great insight over the last few days. If we just go back about a month or so, we're talking about Oxnard, California, which you were at and spent some time there, and it really got heightened when he made that trade request with comments, Garrett. So take me through with that, and then how would you characterize that time frame of the last 30 days or so?
Yes, so after Micah Parsons made his trade request on Friday, August 1st, I then went out to Oxnard starting Monday, August 4th, and after the joint practice against the Rams on August 5th, Jerry Jones spoke to us after the joint practice. And obviously a lot of Micah questions, and he categorized Micah Parsons' trade request at that time as just a negotiation ploy. It's nothing to worry about. But obviously this thing has devolved in the last 30 days. I think the big issue here was Parsons insisting on his hold-in and pointing to, quote, back tightness as a reason to not suit up for training camp practice. Now, that was something he had used, but then the Cowboys said, all right, we'll send you in for an MRI. In speaking to Trayvon Diggs Friday night after their preseason finale with 3 other reporters, Diggs said that Parsons had gotten an MRI earlier that day. And then on Tuesday, Schottenheimer said, yes, we view Parsons as medically cleared to play because his back came back clean in the MRI. So essentially the Cowboys called Parsons bluff and said, if you're going to hold in, medically, we don't see an excuse for you to do that anymore. And so yesterday, he was at Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, reportedly flying out to get a second opinion on his back. And I think just seeing how much the two sides were fighting back against each other, Jerry Jones clearly had enough and decided, I'm going to put my foot down and show that I am in control here in Dallas, not my players. He's caved the last 2 off seasons to re-sign Lamb and Prescott. Here he didn't decide to with Parsons, even though you could certainly make a case that he should have.
Garrett, I'll get you out of here on this. You're going to be at practice tomorrow. What are you anticipating?
I am anticipating a lot of players having very grim reactions to this deal. I mean, Micah Parsons, outside of Dak Prescott, might have been probably the most, best locker room leader that they have there in terms of just bringing guys to him. He's kind of a magnetic personality, I guess you would say, in Parsons. So intense, just so passionate. So the loss of Parsons, who really this whole defense was kind of built around his unique ability to move around the formation and get after the quarterback from a lot of different angles. I mean, schematically, there's going to be major adjustments. And then also just, from a morale perspective, I think it's going to be a very downtrodden locker room when I speak to the guys tomorrow after practice, Friday afternoon.
Garrett, certainly appreciate the time. Make sure you make some time tomorrow. I'm going to do a few more HQ hits, I can tell you that. Garrett Podell joining us here. Appreciate you. There again, the trade details. I mentioned the player. That's Kenny Clark going the other way to Dallas. 2 first-round picks and Micah Parsons goes to Green Bay, the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL.